Tonight, mainly clear, low 37. Winds northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday, partly cloudy skies. High 57. Winds north at 10 to 15 miles per hour. .45 degrees under clear skies. Here's our local Doppler radar.
Jamaica devastated by Hurricane Melissa.
Hospitals have been affected, schools have been affected, police stations, fire stations.
The massive storm causing extensive damage to the southwestern part of the island.
In our breadbasket, where our economy depends heavily on agriculture, that parish is devastated. The capital of St. Elizabeth, Black River, has been totally destroyed.
More than 75% of Jamaica Public Service customers across the country were without power Tuesday, with thousands of people filling emergency shelters. Around 25,000 tourists also still stranded with major airports closed.
I was just in pure survival mode, make sure my kids are, and my wife and my parents and my aunt just have step 1, step 2, step 3 of if this happens, we're doing this. If this happens, we're doing this. It didn't come to that. Other places aren't so fortunate.
Cuba also suffering, quote, significant damage according to the country's president, with the government saying overflowing rivers cut off more than 140,000 people from the rest of the island. And in Haiti, 25 people killed when a flooded river burst its banks, a local mayor said. Now other countries, including the Bahamas, bracing for impacts as Melissa continues to move through the Atlantic. Wednesday, the United Kingdom deploying more than $3 million in emergency humanitarian funding to aid the recovery of Caribbean islands battered by the storm. The United States also committing recovery and rescue teams to the area. In Washington, for Local Now, I'm Michael Yoshida.
These are so good.
2 shots in one day? I think you've earned it.
Get your flu shot and other vaccines from someone who cares. Walk in or schedule today. Walgreens.
Minute Maid can't fix a wonky top, but it can sweeten the sting. At least there's that. Minute Maid is just a juice at the end of the day, but we can help make things a little more okay. Life's a cruise, just a move.
You're home for the holidays. You've dreamt of this moment, back in your old room. Oh.
Hey, kiddo, I'll be right there.
At least you can get a deal on new shorts for Dad. Something with a little more coverage.
A federal judge in California continues to block the Trump administration from laying off certain federal employees during the government shutdown. On Tuesday, U.S. District Judge Susan Ilsen granted federal employee unions' request for an order called a preliminary injunction. This follows a pause on layoffs put in place nearly 2 weeks ago by the same judge. This injunction both prohibits any new layoff notices and pauses any existing ones or federal workers represented by several unions. However, the order doesn't cover notices that were sent to employees before the shutdown. The Trump administration's request to pause the injunction while it appeals the order was also denied.
It's a Halloween staple that sparks strong opinions. Love it or hate it, candy corn has a sweet spot in Halloween history. Candy corn joined the Halloween candy mix after World War II, when sugar rations were finally lifted.
It was invented by George Ratinger and the Wonderly Candy Company in the 1880s. Initially, it was called Chicken Feed, and it kind of goes with the agrarian-themed candies that were popular during the day. In fact, they had a potato candy, and that's probably because about 70% of Americans lived in rural areas at the time.
Candy corn is one of the oldest treats associated with Halloween. In fact, it predates the holiday's widespread celebrations in the U.S. Today, you can find the diverse candy year-round from many different brands.
The recipe itself hasn't really changed much. It's mostly corn syrup, sugar, and gelatin, and a number of different kinds of dyes.
So whether you love it or hate it, maybe your newfound knowledge will make that next handful of candy corn just a little sweeter.
The Federal Reserve making its latest decision on interest rates without the full picture of how the U.S. economy is faring.
There is no risk-free path for policy as we navigate this tension between our employment and inflation goals. Our framework calls for us to take a balanced approach in promoting both sides of our dual mandate.
The ongoing federal government shutdown has suspended most of the economic data the Fed relies on. That includes the Labor Department's jobs report for September, which should have released October 3rd.
It's not to say that we don't know what's happening with the U.S. economy right now, but we would have a much better idea and a higher degree of confidence if the federal government were operating and releasing the data that we're accustomed to getting.
The Fed can lean on employment data from the private sector as well as its regional banks. And while government inflation data for September did release last Friday, Bankrate's Mark Hemrick says the labor market is really in the Fed's focus.
Inflation is rising at an annual rate of 3%. That's still a long way away from the Fed's 2% target. But the Fed is primarily concerned now about a job market which has essentially frozen.
Justin Wolfers, professor of economics and public policy at the University of Michigan, says the central bank will likely take upcoming rate cuts with caution.
What it's doing right now is actually just taking its foot off that brake and moving us back to neutral. We'll coast for a little while until we can figure out what the next step needs to be.
Meaning, economists say, consumer relief on mortgages, auto loans, and credit card debt will come slowly, too. In Washington, I'm Karen Caifa.
Officials from the United States and China met over the weekend to talk trade and set the stage for this highly anticipated meeting between President Donald Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping. Now, after 2 days of negotiations, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent struck a positive tone, saying that the two teams set up a substantial framework for an agreement. While he said he doesn't want to get ahead of the meeting between the two leaders, he did say he believes the U.S. threat of an additional 100% tariff on Chinese imports has gone away. Take a listen.
I think we've reached a substantial framework for the two leaders who will meet in Korea next Thursday. So, on the table, the president had given me maximum leverage when he threatened 100% tariffs if the Chinese imposed their rare earth global export controls. So I think we have averted that so that the tariffs will be averted.
There has been a lot of back and forth prior to these meetings. When Beijing said it would ramp up export restrictions on critical rare earth minerals, Trump responded by threatening sky-high tariffs up to 157%. And China said it could impose countermeasures unless Trump backed down. All that escalation threatening to derail months of progress. In recent days, though, Trump has struck an optimistic tone, saying that he believes this will be a good meeting, maybe even a great meeting. He has said that China will need to make concessions in order to come to a deal, but has suggested that he is open to doing that as well. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
When you or your neighbors have an emergency, you need a quick response. Well, in my neighborhood of Northview, the Plainfield Fire Department is leading the way in handling emergencies when and after they happen. They're using drones. In fact, Plainfield Fire Department's drone team is certified through the National Institute of Standards and Technology. And when I heard that, I wanted to learn more and stopped by their headquarters.
Today we are a multi-functioning team. We have 8 pilots that are FAA licensed, 2 more that are getting onboarded, and we're able to be deployed across the state and sometimes be across the country. Actually, Plainfield Fire was one of the first departments in the state to fly drones, and the team has helped other departments.
So we're an accredited drone team, and so if there is an incident that is big enough, we will get deployed out and requested to go search and rescue as well. We've been requested by other municipalities for help look for people or to help just get a general view of the area, looking for missing people or endangered people, elderly.
The drones are equipped with thermal imaging. This is what I look like through that heat vision, truly red-faced. This is especially useful in finding people who are lost, say in the woods, or needing rescue from a river or lake. But for all the bells and whistles, Plainfield Fire recognizes concerns about privacy.
We won't follow people with drones. We won't go into people's windows with drones for no reason. We have very specific policies on the hows and the kins and the can'ts that we follow very strictly.
The future of the drone team goes beyond the technology.
I see the future of this program expanding. On a fire scene, we need all our staff that we currently have. So I envision having more members or partnering with other agencies to be able to deploy the drone or a drone program for us.
Quick fire response, including drones, can save a home or a business hundreds of thousands of dollars at a fraction of the cost to the department. Chief Swoboda told me that the Plainfield Fire Department plans on keeping up to date on drone tech in the future. I'm Rob Westerby, your Northview neighborhood reporter, Fox 17 News.
Each step, each note, and each heartbeat. For my neighbors who play in the Jenison Marching Band, it's all been leading up to this moment, the state finals stage.
For decades, Jenison Marching Band has earned a reputation as one of the most respected in the state.
A couple counts as we want the most significant build.
Director Dave Zimborski says the excitement never fades.
I think it feels really, really good. This is actually only the 3rd year that we've had this process with the state prelims. So it's still kind of a new, exciting thing. The kids feel really, really good about that kind of preliminary step 1 of getting into the Ford Field State Championships.
The band show this year, The Night Garden, is an 8-minute performance filled with vibrant music, colorful costumes, and dark visuals. They're adding new details to make sure their performance stands out.
We just put in some more choreography for the students last night. So even in the week of state championships, we're adding little details to the show to try to max out the effectiveness in terms of how it's going to hit the audience and the judges.
Behind every performance, students who poured their hearts into every practice. Senior drum major Jaden Bush says making it to state never gets old.
It is just a huge blessing just to be a part of this group that achieves excellence year after year. So definitely don't take it for granted the privilege it is to go to states and even nationals every year.
Junior Devin Butler says it's not about the competition. Harmony isn't only found in the notes of the sheet music.
I think just the bond between everyone in the band and just the desire to get better, and everyone just loves band here, so it creates a really nice culture throughout everyone in the band.
For sophomore Dominic Gill, his first year as a drum major is all about following in the footsteps of those who came before him.
It's, like I said, a lot of hard work, showing up early, getting everything set up, getting ready for the band, and just staying ahead of the band to keep things productive.
The state championships will take place this Saturday, November 1st at Ford Field. I'm Giselle Valentine, your Jenison reporter, Fox 17 News.
2025 marks the 50th anniversary of the Individuals with Disabilities Act. It's a federal law that requires schools to teach children with disabilities to the maximum extent possible with non-disabled students. Here at Meadow Ridge Elementary School in my Rockford neighborhood, they're doing just that.
in the chapter you read yesterday.
Welcome to Mrs. Wittenbach's second grade class.
Follow along as I read.
Students are working on reading.
The old house next door is just the place.
Ellie Gard loves this class.
They've been great here with helping her progress in her skills.
Ellie has Down syndrome, yet she's learning with her peers.
She's very proud of herself when she accomplishes things.
Jennifer Gard is Ellie's mom.
She likes to be independent.
She says Ellie's been in general education classes since kindergarten.
I think it's important because it allows her to be a part of her community just like everybody else.
Ellie, Ada's going to start at the top. Do you think you could read with her?
Ellie is the school's first student with Down syndrome to be fully included in a general ed class.
Her language has come so far in the last 6 months. And again, being around her peers socially, behaviorally, I think it's really helping her to be here.
We're going to do music and then snack. Music, yeah.
Principal Blake Bowman says Ellie is not alone.
As you walk up and down these halls, you're going to see a lot of students with either Down syndrome or autism or different things fully participating in classroom settings, and you might not know which student is which, and that's the goal.
As for Jennifer, she realizes that not all students with disabilities can attend general ed classes, but for Ellie, being mainstreamed has been best.
We've worked very well together, and they've been able to look at research and look outside the box and figure out how to really engage her in her learning.
Jennifer tells me she would like Ellie to stay in general education classes all the way through high school, but they will evaluate what's best for her before every school year. I'm Darren Bauer, your Rockford reporter, Fox 17 News.
Your skin is pale white and ice cold. Don't go out into the sunlight.
Say it out loud. Say it.
Vampire.
The Twilight Saga is back in theaters in honor of the 20th anniversary of Stephenie Meyer's first book. The 2008 film that started it all returns today and runs through November 6th, while the sequels roll out for 1 day each from October 30th through November 2nd. Locations and showtimes at fathomentertainment.com.
Right now, the only thing that matters is that there's a killer on the loose in our building.
They're leaving the building again. Hulu has announced it's renewing Only Murders in the Building for a 6th season. And for the first time, the main trio is heading overseas, investigating a mystery in London. The season 5 finale just debuted Tuesday.
The Beatles had broken up. And I was thinking, what do I do now?
Here's your first look at Man on the Run, about Paul McCartney's post-Beatles era as he formed Wings with his wife, Linda. McCartney is an executive producer on the documentary, which features rare archival material. It's set to stream on Prime Video February 25th after screening in select theaters. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Here's the outlook for your week ahead.